An $18,300 electric pickup has just gone on sale in China, and it could seriously shake up the truck market. It has a body-on-frame chassis, off-road capability, and a fully electric powertrain. Its starting price is less than half that of a base Toyota Hilux or Ford Ranger, and this isn't some tiny electric vehicle with a truck bed attached to it. It's a genuine work-ready pickup designed to tow, haul, and handle tough conditions. So the big question is, could this be the truck that finally challenges the dominance of diesel pickups? Or is it simply a cheap EV that looks impressive on paper but can't handle real-world work? Let's take a closer look at what you're actually getting for $18,000, where this truck performs, where it falls short, and whether major truck makers like Toyota and Ford should be worried. The truck is sold in China under the Really R08 name and officially went on sale in late January 2026. Chery offers 6 versions, priced from around $127,800 to $158,800 yuan, or roughly $18,300 to $22,700, depending on the exchange rate and trim. That $18,300 figure isn't just a marketing trick. It's the genuine starting price for the Chinese market. Underneath, this is a proper body-on-frame pickup built on a traditional ladder chassis rather than the unibody platform used by most crossovers. That's important because body-on-frame construction provides the strength and durability needed for towing, hauling, off-road driving, and heavy-duty work. Chery hasn't simply taken a cheap passenger EV and turned it into a pickup. The electric version is built around the same rugged foundation as the diesel version. Now let's talk about performance. The entry-level model uses a single rear-mounted electric motor, producing around 201 horsepower and 350 newton-meters of torque. It can accelerate from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in about 8.8 seconds. But the dual-motor all-wheel drive version is a completely different story. It produces roughly 402 horsepower and 540 newton-meters of torque, allowing it to reach 100 kilometers per hour in just 5 seconds. That's seriously quick for a work pickup, especially one costing less than many mid-range Hilux models. There are also 2 battery options. The smaller 66.54 kilowatt-hour battery provides a claimed range of around 405 kilometers, while the larger 88 kilowatt-hour pack can deliver about 510 kilometers. The all-wheel drive version is rated at roughly 505 kilometers. These are CLTC figures, so real-world range will likely be lower depending on speed, weather, payload, and terrain. But even after accounting for that, the truck appears to offer enough range for everyday driving and longer trips. Inside, the story gets even more surprising. This isn't a stripped-down budget truck. The cabin includes a large infotainment screen, a digital instrument cluster, and a range of modern driver assistance features. Depending on the version, buyers get technologies such as lane keeping assistance, automatic emergency braking, adaptive cruise control, and a 360-degree camera. Chery has also included intelligent battery thermal management to help maintain stable temperatures during fast charging and demanding use. So, on paper, this looks like a legitimate modern electric pickup rather than a cheap vehicle designed simply to look like a truck. But then comes the biggest question. How can Chery sell all of this for around $18,000? The answer starts with China's massive EV supply chain. Chery operates inside one of the world's most developed electric vehicle manufacturing ecosystems. Battery producers, electric motor suppliers, chip manufacturers, and power electronics companies are all located relatively close to major vehicle production centers. That means manufacturers can source many components domestically without dealing with long international shipping routes or multiple layers of suppliers and distributors. Those savings can make a huge difference to the final price. And that's what makes this pickup so interesting. The low price isn't necessarily the result of cutting every possible corner. It's partly the result of a highly integrated manufacturing system capable of producing EV components at enormous scale. The bigger question now is whether that cost advantage can translate into a truck that works just as hard as traditional diesel pickups. Because specifications are one thing. Real-world towing, payload capacity, battery performance under heavy loads, charging infrastructure, durability, and long-term reliability are what will ultimately determine whether this truck can genuinely compete with established names. For now, though, one thing is clear. An $18,300 body-on-frame electric pickup with over 400 horsepower, all-wheel drive, modern technology, and hundreds of kilometers of claimed range is no longer just a futuristic idea. It's already on sale. And if Chery can prove that this truck can survive the same tough working conditions expected from a diesel pickup, Toyota, Ford, and other established manufacturers may have a very serious problem on their hands. A major reason this electric pickup can be sold at such a low price is China's highly efficient manufacturing ecosystem. Many of the companies supplying batteries, motors, chips, electronics, and other components are located relatively close to one another. That means lower transportation costs, shorter supply chains, and fewer middlemen before the parts even reach the factory. The second advantage is vertical integration. Chery handles much of the vehicle's design, engineering, software, and technology development itself, instead of depending entirely on outside suppliers. And because the company is part of the larger Chery Group, it can share platforms, components, battery technology, software, and manufacturing systems across different models and brands. That means Chery doesn't have to develop everything from scratch for every new vehicle. A lot of the technology and production equipment has already been developed and paid for through other models, which helps spread those costs across millions of vehicles. Then, there's scale. Chery Group sold more than 2.8 million vehicles last year across over 100 countries. Producing vehicles at that volume allows the company to use highly automated factories and robotic assembly lines, bringing down the cost of each individual vehicle while also improving manufacturing consistency. Finally, there's the business strategy. Chery is entering a pickup market that has traditionally been dominated by brands like Toyota and Ford. To get attention quickly, the company can afford to accept a smaller profit margin at the beginning and use aggressive pricing to attract customers. Put all those factors together: China's concentrated supply chain, vertical integration, huge production volumes, and aggressive pricing, and that $18,300 starting price suddenly doesn't seem quite so mysterious. But here's where things get really interesting: where it can beat the Hilux and Ranger. The first advantage is power. The 402 horsepower all-wheel drive version produces significantly more power than many traditional diesel versions of the Hilux and Ranger. But horsepower isn't the biggest story. Electric motors deliver torque almost instantly, which means strong acceleration from a complete stop. For someone carrying equipment in the bed or pulling a trailer, that instant torque can make a real difference when starting from a stop, climbing a hill, or joining a highway. Then there's running cost. In many markets, electricity costs considerably less per kilometer than diesel fuel. EVs also have fewer moving parts, which means there's no conventional engine oil, turbocharger, or diesel exhaust fluid system to maintain. Over years of ownership, those differences could translate into lower maintenance costs and less time spent in a workshop. And pickup trucks aren't just work vehicles anymore. Many people use them as family cars, daily drivers, road trip vehicles, and camping rigs. That's another area where an electric pickup has an advantage. It's quieter, smoother, and more refined than a traditional diesel truck. Add modern infotainment and driver assistance technology, and the driving experience can feel more like an SUV than an old-school work truck. For many buyers, that everyday comfort could be just as important as towing and payload. So in terms of power, running costs, refinement, and daily usability, this electric pickup isn't simply cheaper than the Hilux and Ranger. In some areas, it may actually be better. the reality check. But now we need to talk about the biggest catch. That $18,300 price is for the Chinese domestic market. Once the truck leaves China, the price can change dramatically. Import duties, shipping costs, taxes, local safety certification, homologation requirements, and dealer markups can all add thousands of dollars. So if this truck eventually arrives in markets such as Australia, Europe, or Latin America, don't expect to see it sitting on a showroom floor for $18,300. The final price will depend on the individual country, but the headline Chinese price almost certainly won't remain the same overseas. Then there's the biggest challenge of all, reputation. Toyota and Ford have spent decades proving that trucks like the Hilux and Ranger can survive extreme conditions. They've been used on farms, construction sites, mining operations, deserts, and remote roads where reliability is absolutely critical. That kind of reputation can't be created overnight. Chery's electric pickup may have impressive power, technology, and pricing, but specifications alone don't prove long-term durability. The real test will come when owners start using these trucks for years, towing heavy loads, carrying equipment, driving through extreme temperatures, and putting hundreds of thousands of kilometers on them. If the truck proves it can handle that kind of abuse while maintaining its low running costs, then Toyota and Ford may have a serious new competitor. For now, the $18,300 electric pickup is impressive on paper. But whether it can truly replace the diesel workhorse is something only real-world experience will ultimately decide. The Hilux EV simply doesn't have the long-term track record that Toyota and Ford have built over decades. We don't yet know how well its chassis will resist corrosion after 10 or 15 years. We don't know how the battery will perform after years of carrying heavy loads, towing trailers, and operating in extremely hot or cold climates. Those are questions that only real-world use can answer, and unfortunately, no amount of money can speed up the passage of time. There's another major issue: service and infrastructure. Toyota and Ford have spent decades building enormous dealership, repair, and parts networks around the world. Those networks extend into remote areas where pickup trucks are often used the hardest. If your Hilux breaks down hours away from the nearest major town, there's a good chance you can still find a dealer, mechanic, or parts supplier somewhere nearby. Chery's global service network is still developing. In many of the markets where work trucks are especially important, access to spare parts and reliable rural service is still limited, and that's not something you can fix overnight, even if the truck itself is excellent. So yes, the low price is real. The performance figures are impressive, but the advantage Toyota and Ford have built over generations, trust, reliability, parts availability, and service support, is still a major barrier. At least for now. Who actually wins? So where does all of this leave us? I don't think this is a story about Chery suddenly destroying the Hilux or Ranger, at least not yet. Instead, I think we're watching the pickup market begin to split into two different groups. On one side, you'll have urban drivers, lifestyle buyers, small business owners, and first-time truck buyers who want the practicality of a pickup without the high purchase and running costs. These customers may care about technology, comfort, quiet driving, low operating costs, and affordability just as much as traditional truck toughness. That's exactly where the Hilux EV makes the most sense. On the other side, you'll still have mining companies, heavy commercial fleets, serious off-road users, farmers, and rural customers who simply cannot afford to take chances with reliability. For those buyers, proven durability and a strong service network can matter more than horsepower, technology, or a low sticker price. That's where Toyota and Ford still have a huge advantage. But here's the part that should really get the attention of the traditional automakers. This truck is a warning. It's proof that a properly equipped, genuinely capable electric pickup can be produced and sold at a price that would have seemed almost impossible just a few years ago. Toyota and Ford now have a very clear signal that they need to keep pushing their own hybrid and electric pickup programs while finding ways to reduce production costs. Otherwise, the affordable end of the pickup market could gradually become dominated by Chinese manufacturers, and regardless of which company ultimately wins, that's actually good news for customers. More competition means more innovation. It can also put pressure on manufacturers to lower prices, improve technology, and offer better vehicles. The pickup industry is being pushed toward electrification and modernization, whether the traditional manufacturers are ready for it or not. So now the real question is for you. Would you trust a brand new Chinese electric pickup with no proven long-term track record over a Toyota Hilux or Ford Ranger if it meant saving thousands of dollars? Let me know what you think in the comments, because this is one debate that's definitely going to divide truck buyers. And if you want to know which traditional automaker could be the first to seriously respond to this challenge, make sure you're subscribed. In the next video, we'll take a closer look at Toyota's upcoming EV pickup strategy and what it could mean for the future of the truck market.